Hey everyone. I just wanted to shoot this video because something's been kind of tickling in the back of my brain for the past few days. Um, it's all, a lot of stuff from San Diego Comic Con has come out, especially concerning the G.I. Joe brand from Hasbro. And I've seen a lot of videos of folks that are making points about the stuff that's come out. And then some of them contain complaints, for lack of a better word. And then I've noticed this other little industry that's kind of started out is that when people put out a video where they're complaining about something, then somebody has to put out a video complaining about the complainers. That's a whole other story for all other time about how that works. And I've gone over that before, how social media is all driven on outrage and things like that. Um, but what I want to talk about is something that Hasbro did, um, where I think they turned a what was basically a molehill of an issue into a mountain of an issue. And what that was with this figure, the anticipated Judge crossover with Tomb Raider, the Laura Croft figure. So we've seen this for a while, and people have been pointing out, okay, so they got some things going on with this, reuse some new parts. It's just a mix. But what we didn't know at the time was what the price was going to be on it. People expected to be a little bit higher because of licensing and all that. Um, but this one, like I said, out of all the reveals, though, I think this one has triggered the most response of people saying that this figure is not worth $45. And when I saw it at first, I said that as well. This is not a $45 figure. And then people go into the typical things about the reuse pieces and all this stuff. And I'm not here to argue the price because the price is what it is. And we can do it, but I don't think that was the underlying issue because there's something going on in the background that a lot of people aren't aware of. And just to show, and it's going to take me a minute to get here, but just to show you what I'm talking about is something I noticed today. So today I was in Walmart and I was in the toy aisle looking. They had all the same stuff that's been on there for a while that's not moving anywhere. So one thing I noticed is that so when you look at your regular classified release, a retro carded figure and the regular classified release figures are around 27.97 at my Walmart, so about $30 rounded up with that. And that's typically normal. I mean, yes, and we complain about the price of these as well, but what we've done is we've kind of come to expect that as the normalcy right now with this line. And then looking down into, they still have these the legacy special ops, and they're at $42.94, so about $43 is where the legacy style is sitting. And again, you see it's you get a little bit more in the packaging. Packaging's big and all that stuff. And then this was the Dr. Press Rock. I think they call this deluxe packaging. I'm not 100% sure. At $52. And yeah, yes, again, like I said, we can talk about the pricing on these things, whether they should be that amount. But they have, and it's typical because you see this on the Transformers line as well. Different styles of releases are set at different price points and what have you. And I think what actually caused the backlash to the Tomb Raider figure was this: is that when they premiered it at SDCC, they're showing it is going to be released on a retro card. Why is this important? Why did I say this is causing the problem? It's because of something that has to do with how packaging is part of marketing. And so basically, the purpose of packaging from a marketing standpoint is to grab attention in a few seconds. You walk down the aisle, it's supposed to grab your attention. It communicates the brand identity, triggers emotions, and raise the perceived value of an item before the buyer even touches it. So what has happened is, for the longest time, regular release classifieds and retro card being at around $30, is our brains have come to associate that anything on a retro card should be around $30. So when they released this figure at $45, our brains go, that's a $15 increase. So to us, we don't feel that. The perceived value is there with the figure. However, if they would have compared it to the legacy releases, which we've come again, don't come at me about pricing, what it should be, but what would have happened is our brains would have gone, if I'm paying $43 for a legacy figure, then I'm only paying $2 more for the Laura Croft figure. Because I've heard a lot of people say that $15 is a licensing tax on it. Whereas if it would have been in a legacy package, we would only felt there was a $2 difference in the price with that. And this is the way marketing works. You see, this is what they should have done is they should have probably put in more of the legacy style packaging, as like the new Macho Man figure. Now, like I heard, there's a lot of stuff at this price point, but at least what it was at a price point that we've become accustomed to paying for these legacy style releases with that. And you can see compared to the Action Man, which they pay no licensing fee on, there's still just that $2 difference in there. This is a case where I've always said that Hasbro has a huge problem with their marketing. They really don't understand how to market things. They kind of just do things on automatic with that. So it was kind of like this idea is that the expectation was already subconsciously set in us that certain things and certain packaging comes at a certain price point. Now, I like that they put the Laura Croft on the retro card. I mean, I think that was probably a better call from a brand standpoint. But what they did is they unintentionally short-circuited our brains. And that's why that kind of stuff happens with that. So, again, I'm not defending the price of it. I'm just trying to understand why people have been reacting the way there it is. And also, I don't understand people getting upset with the way people are reacting to things, their opinions. And it's just a weird place. But I think that this is one of the cases where Hasbro's marketing strategy was not really considered when they did this figure. And that's what's causing the biggest controversy. If they would have put it out in a legacy box like the Action Man figure, then people would have looked at it and they said, okay, it's only a $2 increase. But because they put it on a retro card back, people feel like it's a $15 increase. In reality, what it shows you is by putting that into a retro card, it kind of shows you how we're kind of getting kind of screwed on these legacy releases, because there's really not that much in added value there going for that. And that's a discussion for another time. But this is kind of what I'm always concerned about, how things are perceived and the underlying things that cause these problems. So listen, it's one of these things that if you want the figure, get the figure. And we can complain about it. Complaining is okay. Criticism is okay. That's what it is. But that's kind of my theory. And again, I'm not a marketing expert. I'm an amateur expert, like I said, but I've been around this enough. In other aspects, I've hired marketing firms for companies I've worked for to do things. I kind of understand why and how certain things are and how the human brain works a little bit. And so that's why I kind of feel like that for all the releases at San Diego Comic-Con, this Laura Croft figure was the one that really seemed to have flipped a switch in a lot of people. And I think that's a lot of it is them seeing it on a retro card and their brains going, a retro card should be $27 and this is $45, makes this whole thing look more egregious than what it actually is with that. So, hey, listen, if you agree or disagree, comment below. These are just kind of the observations I have with this. Let me know if you're going to get this figure. I'm I'm kind of thinking about it. I've already pre-ordered the Action Man. I know it's sold out. For me, this was actually a good idea from Hasbro because Tomb Raider fans for the longest time they've not gotten a good amount of action figures based on this brand, and Tomb Raider fans are kind of a very rabid fan base with that. So this is one of those things that I think was a good idea for Hasbro to kind of do this collaboration with them. Because it's it taps into G.I. Joe fans, it taps into adventure fans, it taps into Tomb Raider fans, and sometimes there's a lot of crossover between those. And this is one of these things that you can't look at the price and go, I'll just wait till RossCon, till it goes to Ross or Ollie's. Just because, I mean, it's sold out now everywhere. So chances are, like I said, this is one that, like I said, if G.I. Joe fans aren't going to buy it, then Tomb Raider fans are going to buy it. So this is going to be one. And then I'm sure a lot of those were flippers who are now going to try to charge people $80 for this figure. But again, this I just want to maybe just kind of explain why I feel that this one felt so egregious to folks. It's just because it's one of these things where the underlying marketing works like it's supposed to, but in this case, it kind of backfired by their choice with that. So again, let me know. Thanks for watching.